with another video for Ophelia Talks, and yes, we are back with the course for learning to crochet, so let's get started. So in today's class we are going to learn to make a chain again, and we are going to start looking at the single crochet. Okay, so how many meters of chains have you done over the last week? Okay, I hope you have been trying to practice, because that's the only way you will get nice and even uniform stitches. Okay, so I have done a little bit more here, but I hope that you have been able to find some time every evening to do your chaining. Now you can either choose to cut this off and start again, because that's what we are going to do, or you can undo it. And yes, look at this. I'm just pulling this side and it is very easy to undo. So whenever you stop crocheting for the evening or for the day or whatever, you need to pull up your loop really high, so that if you do by accident pull it, it doesn't undo. But yes, it should be you should be able to undo this quite easily. And here we go. Gone. So we're doing that slip knot again. Wrap your yarn around your fingers, front to the back, front to the back, and pull up at the front. There we go. Okay, so we've got our loop ready. I've got my hook ready. Insert your hook and close up your loop like this. Hold on to your short end here, and yes, hold on to your yarn, so loop round your fingers like this, and we are going to do a chain again. There we go. So yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through, and you should be able to do this now because you have been practicing. So now we are going to count them, and as I said before, you are creating little V's, and as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 V's, and I would like you to do 30 V's. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 30. So I now have 30 V's, and they should be all quite uniform. Also, make sure they are not too tight and not too loose, just nice like this. Now we are going to work our way back along these 30 stitches with a single crochet. Now in UK terms that's called a double crochet. In American terms this is called a single crochet. So we've just done a chain of 30. Now when you are going to turn, or when you're going to start doing a stitch and you have to sort of work your way up, we are going to do that, but you can only do that by doing a chain. Okay, so for a single crochet you are going to chain one chain. For a single crochet, that one chain does not count as a stitch, but we are going to do a stitch in that same chain that this chain is going to come out of. And so you're going to insert, and this is where your point is important, insert into the base of the V. So if you look at it like this, you're going to insert in the 30th chain, and you are going to go in where the V meets. That means you are picking up 2 bits of that chain. So you're picking up the one V, the one side of the V, and the bump at the back, And this time you're going to pick up your yarn, so from the back to the front this time. You pull it through that chain like so, and then you pick up from the front to the back and you pull it through both loops on your hook. Shall we do that again? So at the base of the V you insert, you pick up 2 bits, you pick up your wool because that's the place where you are, so you pick up your yarn there and you bring it through. Then you do the same thing as with your chain, you pick up your yarn again and you pull it through both loops on your hook. And you have now created 2 single crochets, and your chain is just there for your turning purposes. Now you are going to do this in every stitch along your line. Now you have 30 chains, so that means you are going to do 30 single crochets. How are you going to count them? You are making V's at the top of your work. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 V's. And if you look at the bodies of the stitches, you have also done 6 bodies. So you have done 6 stitches. So you need to do 30. So let's keep going. Now make sure you don't skip one. For example, if you go in here, you will have a hole, okay, because you have skipped a stitch here. So you undo that one. I always try and go into the loop with my hook before I actually pull, so I don't pull out more than I need to. Into that base of the V, picking up 2 loops, bringing up the yarn, yarning over and pulling through. And that is a single crochet. And in UK this is called a double crochet. You're going to do 30 of them. Now it is very in crochet it is very important to count. You might lose stitches or you might add stitches. See, for example, if I go into the same place now, I have put 2 stitches in 1 stitch. Can you see that? So once again, take out your hook, I put it in the loop where I'm supposed to be. There we go. And you can also easily pick up just the 1 loop. Now people do that, that's fine, you can do that, but what I find is, look, it creates holes. I find doing this, picking up 2 loops, and then you also still have that 3rd loop left if you wanted to do a border on a blanket, for example, you can still do that. This I find just, yeah, it creates a hole for me. Okay, so it's much neater. Oh, I forgot to insert my hook. It's much neater to pick up both loops and keep your work nice and tidy. Now, if you are crocheting very tightly, you might not be able to get into your stitches, or you might find it very difficult to get into your stitches. That means you need to look at your chain. Okay, you might just need to undo it again and do a chain that you can get into. Maybe even you might need to go up a hook size to make your chain bigger, or you might need to go down a hook size if your chain is far too loose. Right, so I have nearly done my 30 single crochets, and I am going to show you what you are going to do at the end of the line, and then you can keep doing this for this week's homework. Yes, There is going to be another week of homework. You have got to practice. Practice, practice, practice. That's the only way you will learn. We've learned to read, we've learned to ride, we've learned to ride a bike, we've learned to write. You've got to practice for all these things. The same goes for crochet. Okay? You have got to practice. So this is the last stitch. That always is a little bit more difficult to get into, so I just help with my nail to bring this piece of yarn over my hook, and then I still have the 2 there, so I'm okay. Right, so there, and you do your last stitch. So now count your V's. You should have 30. Okay. Now we are going to do that 1 chain. Then you turn your work, and now you have the back of your work facing you, the front is facing away from you, and the V's are not visible at the moment. Okay, so what you are going to do is tip your work towards you so you can actually see the V's, because that's what you need to see. Okay, soon you'll be able to do it without tipping it, but now we'll just tip it. Okay, now what we are going to do, like I said, the chain does not count as a stitch, so in the very first stitch you are going to pick up both. Let me just show you without this piece of yarn in the way. So you're going to tip towards you, you see the V's, and you go in, picking up the first and the second leg of the V. Okay? Then you do exactly the same. You bring up your loop, yarn over again and pull through 2. Tip towards you. See the V. Pick up both loops and yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook. And you do this all the way to the end, making, look, I didn't look at the V, but I know I've got both of them because obviously I'm used to it. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches done. Okay, so you just keep doing this, picking up both legs of the V. Oh, all that went flying then. So insert, pick up, yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, so keep doing this all the way because that's what we are doing at the moment, and you'll find that you get quicker at it. You'll find that you'll get better at recognizing where to go in. So if you're not looking at it from the top, you can tell that you need to go into this hole here, and you push through and you've got both loops on your both legs over your hook. Oh my word. Pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, your yarn should be at the back there and you're pulling it up, making a second loop, yarn over and pull through 2. And once again you do 30 stitches, so count them. If you've lost them or you've got more, you've done something wrong somewhere. Okay, but you should be able to find every stitch. Once again, your first piece like this will not look as uniform as mine, obviously, but this is what it should look like. Every stitch should look about the same. You should have equal tension to create stitches that are the same size. See, if I try to do it really tightly, look, that looks completely different. I've got holes. So you can see that there is a difference there between there and there. So you've got to just make sure you have a smooth way of operating. I'm not clinging on to anything that I'm holding. I'm just manipulating the hook. I'm just gently holding on to my wool. There's no need to be uptight with it, to be stressed. Just try to relax and make sure that your wool is, look, it's sliding over my hook quite happily, quite easily, okay? So try and make sure that that's what happens, okay? There's no pulling, there's no tension needed, right? So here we have the last V, and again, maybe that's not so easy to get into, but it's okay here. So you go into that there, right? And this here is your turning chain, and that's fine. That can just stay where it is for now. And you chain up, you turn, and you do exactly the same thing as before. You find that first V, there it is. You go into it, and you do your single crochet into that little hole there, and that will bring you under the V, into the hole, under the V there, pull up your loop, and that's what you are going to be doing for quite a few rows, okay? Now I think this is where I did those tight stitches, and you will see, look, I can hardly get in, okay? So it's a lot harder to get in. See, this is not what you should be doing, okay? If you are doing this, put it down, cool your hands, take a moment and do it again, okay? Because you can learn to crochet. It's just, you need to be calm, less anxious, and you just need to make it be your friend, okay? So just insert very gently. I'm not pulling the yarn, I'm just manipulating it. There we go, okay? So yes, those two stitches were very hard to get into. If that is the case, undo it all and start again. Go back to the beginning of this video and start again. It doesn't matter, you've got time enough to try and learn this. Spend some time every evening doing this. That's the only way you will be able to almost, like, you know, get it, get that aha moment, you know, and once you've got that, you'll be flying through it. So I wish you a lot of fun this week with your single crochet, and when you have done quite a bit of this, don't go further than a whole ball, okay? Come back next week and I will show you the next stitch that we are doing. This is so exciting. But keep counting, okay? Make sure that you keep to your 30 stitches. Look, this is straight. If you are going in like this, undo it and start again, okay? Make sure you count every row your 30 stitches. See you next week. Bye. If you are new to my channel or you haven't yet subscribed, please find the red subscription button and click on it. It is free. You will then see a bell sign. Click on that too, so you are notified of every new video I upload. You can also find links to my social media right above that.